Standard train travel is designed for comfort, padded seats, and a steady view of the passing scenery. But on these specific routes, the margin for error disappears as the train fights against gravity and extreme weather. We are analyzing the 20 most dangerous railways on Earth to determine the primary cause of their risk. We have to determine if these routes are failing because of nature's harsh geography or because human engineering was forced past its safe operating capacity. These 20 tracks represent a global engineering challenge, appearing across multiple continents and every conceivable climate. This data shows the recurring threats: extreme altitudes, active landslide zones, and zero clearance bottlenecks. Reaching the most remote locations on the planet involves a direct trade-off. To gain access to these landscapes, you must accept infrastructure built on the edge of destruction. To evaluate our countdown, we are weighing environmental hazards against the specific reward of the journey. We are looking at how impossible mountain angles or extreme human density create specific, fatal trade-offs. This chart plots our countdown. The horizontal axis measures the scenic or economic payoff of the route, while the vertical axis maps the fatality and structural risk. Every track on this list exists because a specific economic reward or tourist demand was deemed to be worth more than the human cost of maintaining the rails. Track 20, the White Pass and Yukon route, operates in an environment where extreme winter conditions routinely bury the rails. Derailment is a constant threat here because the tracks are often invisible beneath the snow. Tracks 19 and 16, Australia's Kuranda and Norway's Flåm railways, trade the snow for tropical rain. The waterfalls are a primary tourist draw, but they also trigger the ongoing landslides that threaten to wash the tracks off the cliffside. On Track 17, Indonesia's Argo Gede, the danger is structural. Modern, heavy passenger trains are forced to navigate aging steel bridges that span deep valleys, where any failure would be catastrophic. Then there's Track 18, the Salta Railway in Argentina. At 4,200 meters, the danger is physiological. The lack of oxygen impacts both the train's engine performance and the crew's ability to react to emergencies. For these specific routes, the train itself is standard technology. The risk comes from nature actively attempting to reclaim the land from the infrastructure. At Track 15, Thailand's Maeklong Railway, the hazard is human. This is a zero-clearance environment where a local market operates within inches of the moving locomotive's wheels. Track 14, the Chennai and Mumbai suburban railways, face a different density problem. Millions of people interact with these high-speed trains on overcrowded platforms that have no physical safety margins. In these urban bottlenecks, the probability of an accident is high. When thousands of people must interface with moving steel daily, a single misstep results in an immediate fatality. Track 13, India's Pamban Bridge, puts daily commuter traffic over the open ocean. These narrow structures are relentlessly battered by high winds and corrosive saltwater, which requires constant, high-risk maintenance. These routes function as critical economic lifelines. In these regions, the daily need for transportation overrides the recurring casualty risks of the infrastructure. While the previous routes battle external factors like weather and crowds, the top 10 are dangerous by design. These blueprints were forced into configurations that test the extreme limits of load-bearing and traction. Consider Tracks 12 and 11, the Cumbres and Georgetown loops. Engineers used vintage timber bridges to navigate dizzying heights, stringing heavy locomotives across impassable mountain gaps. These designs rely on century-old iron and wood frameworks. The structural reality of holding a train above an open river valley means a single fractured support beam could drop the entire transit. Track 5, the Pilatus Railway in Switzerland, highlights the limits of vertical engineering. There is only so much traction a steel wheel can maintain on a rail before it begins to slip. To handle a 48% gradient, engineers use specialized cogwheels that lock into the track. It is a functional solution, but it means a single mechanical failure in the braking system results in an unstoppable freefall. Track 10, Thailand's Death Railway, was built in terrain where construction was previously thought impossible. These wooden trestles were built directly into sheer cliff faces under extreme duress. This structure was rapidly assembled and remains structurally precarious. Tens of thousands of people died during its construction, yet it remains a primary route for passengers today. Track 4, Japan's Oso Minami route adds an invisible threat. It runs beside an active volcano, meaning passengers face not just potential eruptions, but the risk of sudden toxic gas leaks in the cabin. These top 10 tracks test the specific mechanical limits of weight distribution and braking systems. On these rails, a simple transit becomes a high-stakes demonstration of structural integrity. The most dangerous track on Earth is the Devil's Nose in Ecuador. The mountain face is so steep, traditional circular tracks were a physical impossibility. The solution was a zigzag switchback system. To descend, the train moves past a junction, stops, and reverses down the next section. This maneuver drops the train 500 meters over just 12 kilometers. This means during every switch, the train's rear cars are held directly over a deep abyss, while the crew manually resets the rails. The Devil's Nose represents the ultimate geographical trade-off. The construction cost thousands of lives, and today it is maintained only by accepting massive operational risks on every trip. These tracks generally map to two types of travelers. Extreme thrill seekers will find these engineering miracles worth the visit, while safety-conscious travelers should avoid them entirely. Every trip on this list requires you to decide if the view and the history are worth the mechanical risk. Tell us in the comments which of these 20 tracks you would be willing to ride. For more detailed breakdowns of high-stakes engineering, subscribe to the channel.